What up, y'all? I'm JT, Chef Tickles, the Alaskan Sniper. I'm here with your boy, Chris Easy, Deuces -1, Chris Evans.
What up, what up?
We're joined here with our man, Big Daddy, the boy himself, Faraz Sani.
What it do, baby?
DB, the assassin, Sharp Knuckles. How's it going? And let's get into it. This is Hoop Session.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Hoop Session. It's been a long time, but we're back with episode 30. So we're gonna jump into the unfortunate retiring of LaMarcus, talk a little Zion play-in tournament, and Westbrook season that he's having over there in Washington as well. But Chris, you had a good day at the beach, bro?
Yeah, man.
3 days?
3 days in a row. I'm about to keep it going up until it starts being cloudy. So it's been quite a good 3 days so far. Got a little darker, so I'm happy.
Must be
Unreal
nice.
weather, man.
Just must be nice,
Unreal
man.
weather. Unreal.
It doesn't make any sense. It feels like it's July right now.
Honestly, dude, I've been in this tank top for the last 3 days. Like, obviously different styles, but like a tank top like this and shorts for the last 3 days. It's been like peak summer.
Yo, I live by this guy. He's lying, man. It's the same shirt. He hasn't even washed it.
Dude, he's like, I saw him wearing a hoodie one time.
He was in a three-piece suit when I saw him.
Let's get into LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm sure everybody knows by now. Unfortunate kind of health condition with him, having irregular heartbeat. He said during a game against the Lakers. And afterwards, getting quite scary for him. So I guess he kind of notified Brooklyn's medical staff and had a look. And I guess he's calling it a career, starting on the #1 team in the East. Unfortunately, and he's got to call it a career. So DB, what do you think about that, man?
Yeah, man, it is what it is, but it just shows how important health is, just in general, right? No one's invincible. We look at these guys, these NBA players, and we don't realize they're still human, right? Like, at any moment, it could all be taken away. But he had a full career. I think he was a 7-time All-Star. Like he was a baller, man. That mid-range is nothing to joke around about. So, I mean, he wanted one more. I guess he wanted a chance at a ring this year, and he had a very good chance of winning one with that team. But I mean, your health is more important, right? And he had a long career, so
yeah,
it's all good.
Made enough money. Faraz,
he did enough too, right? It's not just he made enough money. He has he's going to be known as like a really good player, like a top-notch player in the league.
Yeah, I think his career averages are 19-9, which is still like unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
I mean, compare what the average NBA player's stats are. I bet she's like double or whatever. Like whatever he's still maybe not double, but still he's much like he's above average. Like that's what he'll go down as. You're right.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even know what an irregular heartbeat really is. Like I'm like,
how do you feel that? Like, do you feel like your heart just going like different?
I don't know. I think they noticed it in a test, but I don't know. Well,
he said he felt it during the game against the Lakers.
Oh, and then felt it. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he played through it against them, and then after the game, he said it got a lot worse. So I don't know. You get that, especially when you're exercising, right? You can feel your heartbeat. But I guess I don't know. Cam, where are you at, man? Explain this shit to us.
Cam's just gonna crack the guy's neck and just go back in there, man. It's all good, man. You're good now.
Let me throw this question out to you guys. Chris, I'll start with you. But is LaMarcus Aldridge Hall of Fame?
Oof, that's a tough one. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly, I loved him in Portland. I loved what he did in Portland, but I don't think he has enough of a resume to be a Hall of Famer. Like, I don't know if you can basically say this guy goes to the Hall of Fame with the stats. I think, Faraz, you said he averaged 19-9 kind of thing.
Yeah, so
I don't think that gets you in the Hall of Fame, especially with no rings. I don't think that gets you fully into the Hall of Fame. Obviously, like what he's been through and stuff. Like, is Chris Bosh in the Hall of Fame?
Who?
No, but
Chris Bosh will be.
No,
Chris Bosh will be.
But Chris Bosh will be, but Aldridge probably won't.
He has rings. Aldridge doesn't have rings, so it's like I don't think Aldridge will get in the Hall of Fame. No.
Yeah.
I think at their peaks, though, I think even like those two at their peaks, I think Chris Bosh was still a little bit better.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I I was thinking about this, and I heard it on another podcast. Like you hear it, and you're like, no, maybe not. But the Chris Bosh is a great argument. You know, they both had similar kind of starts where they're the man in their all own little small city. But then their career took a different path from there, right? Bosh went to go play with Wade and LeBron. What if LaMarcus went to go play with Wade and LeBron? You would assume they would still have it, those 2 titles, if not maybe more, right? So, but then I started to go back and think about his career even more. So he played 3 years in Portland with Dame, right? So he was the number 2 overall pick, right? He should have been like the guy. He went there. They draft Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy is the guy, gets devastating injury. Then LaMarcus still killing it, like you said, averaging about 20. And then they draft Dame. What was he, number 8 or something like that? 7, doesn't matter. He then, you know, at the beginning of his career, obviously he wasn't at his peak, but you know, it's Dame's team now, quite obviously, as we look at it right now. So he moves on to San Antonio in free agency. He gets he's given the Warriors a run for their money, and Zaza steps underneath Kawhi, right? So that could have been a great chance for him to maybe get to the finals. You know, who knows what that team would have done, right?
Kawhi didn't get injured, legit. If Zaza didn't step under him, imagine none of that. He might have stayed.
Exactly.
And that Warriors team might have not have been what they were.
There's so many what ifs though, man.
That's
the thing about like JT. I agree with you, and I think like his talent level is there where he could be a Hall of Fame type player.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they really do look at championships really heavily when they weigh that kind of stuff, or like individual accolades they look at a lot. So like if you're a defensive player of the year kind of thing, like they really put more weight into that kind of thing when they vote on Hall of Famers. So
right,
kind of like. Yeah.
JT, do you think if he would have stayed with Brooklyn this year and Brooklyn would have won the chip, does that make him a Hall of Famer or no?
Certainly helps.
If he plays like 4th, 5th fiddle on that team, does that make him a Hall of Famer?
He was starting before he went down with this, right? So who knows? It gives a hell of a good argument, of course, but who knows? Does he re-sign and they get another one next year? Like DB said, a lot of what ifs, but the ultimate what if I think is that Portland team. Because imagine if he would have stayed to a point where Dame was able to, you know, mature into that role. Wes Matthews still giving meaningful minutes. Nick Batum still giving meaningful minutes. Like they had a good fucking team, a good chance with that squad. And, you know, Wes Matthews blew his Achilles that year. LaMarcus a little unhappy with how he was being treated by the team, and he left in free agency, right?
Yeah. I like to play devil's advocate all the time, man. So I think like if Aldridge was there, would Dame become Dame? I know Dame would. I think Dame on any team, like in my opinion, would. That's the guy he is. He's a dog, and he's not scared of the moment, and he would develop into it. But would it become his team that quick, right? And like there's so many like it's just like so many different factors when you talk about just like chemistry and I don't know. It's
but like you were saying, Chris, in terms of accolades of LaMarcus getting in or not, I think he's within 100 points of 20,000 career points. So that's unfortunate. If he could have had, you know, maybe like 3-4 games and got over that hump, but that's kind of like a big one. Like if you're a 20,000 point scorer, it's a really good kind of point to get you in the Hall of Fame. Faraz, did you have something else?
I was going to say, because to your question of him being in the Hall of Fame or not, like one of my favorite players growing up, like T-Mac, he's in the Hall of Fame, but he didn't really accomplish much. Like if you really think about it, he was a bucket getter. I bet you he probably has like 1 or 2 scoring titles for the year, like leading the league in scoring. I think he had at least 1. But apart from that, I think like I don't know. I feel like their stats might not be too different, like what they accomplished. But then so that makes me think like if T-Mac gets in, maybe Aldridge might eventually. Maybe he won't be a first ballot, but like maybe what if he comes up in a weak year?
Yeah. That's actually a huge factor. That's actually a huge factor who you come up with, right? Like that's actually that plays a bigger role than you really think.
No.
That's right? Like 10 years from now? 10 years from now? Or was it 5?
T-Mac's career T-Mac's career stats were 19.5, 5.5, and 4.5. So it's like it won't be. Not,
but see, T-Mac was the more popular player and like did more crazy things, like you said, led the league in scoring and whatnot. Like I think that sort of adds to your resume going into Hall of Fame. And like I don't think LaMarcus has anything other than All-Stars to his name, really.
That's 7 All-Stars, though. That's pretty nice, man.
Yeah,
Which is amazing.
That's pretty
he's probably got a couple All-NBA.
I was gonna say he probably has a couple All-NBA third teams,
probably
maybe a second team, like in his P. Who knows?
Yeah, interesting. Faraz, you want to take us through what that big boy Zion's doing down in New Orleans there?
Dude, yo, the Pelicans are my favorite team to watch, hands down. Like it's
they're fun to watch.
Yeah, we always come back to this where it's like, remember the start of the season? We're like, why is New Orleans getting all these TV games?
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm actually legit. I'm glad they're on TV all the time.
The NBA did it right. They were like, okay, we're gonna put on TV.
Dude, for a dude who's in his second year of playing, I looked at it today. He's only 3 assists away from averaging what LeBron was averaging in his second year. 20, yeah, because Zion's 27, 7, and like 4, and LeBron was 27, 7, and 7 in his second year. And I was looking, I'm like,
Jesus
God,
Christ.
And dude, when I'm watching him play, DB mentioned it earlier because his footwork, dude, it's actually his footwork is unbelievably nice. He actually gets open. He actually like he does moves. Like it's like he's a legit basketball player. It's not like I thought he would only rely on his athleticism, but I'm seeing so many different facets to his game that like it's unreal. Like how he gets to the rim with ease and how he bullies men out there.
And also I underrated his I guess like the mental side of his basketball ability. Like you said, second year, so what, he's probably 20 years old, if that. And you could very easily get baited into taking like 5, 6, 7 threes a game if they're going to back off you that much. I would shoot that much if they backed off of me. So like, he's playing
more, man. You would check up more for sure.
You know what I mean? Like to have that composure to like, yes, keep him honest. He, his first game ever, he hit those 4 threes, but he's not settling. He gets to the fucking rim because that's what he's good at, right? Everybody knows it's coming and he still does it.
It's like what I wish LeBron would do every time. It's like just taking the rim.
You took the words out of my mouth, man. I was just gonna say that, like exactly what LeBron should do on those like possessions where end of game, just put your fucking shoulder down and drive to the rim, man. Like he makes so much space with his body, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
This man can get to the rim whenever he wants. Just like Zion. I feel like Zion's taking more advantage of getting to rim because he's younger. Whereas LeBron is like, I need to maintain my body. I don't want to bang around every single game. Like I need to like last my body through the season. Whereas Zion's what, 22, 21? I don't know.
20.
Yeah.
20.
Like 20.
Yeah.
21. The kid.
And this dude has people sitting in the free throw line, like in the key, while he's like letting them shoot a 3, and he still gets to the rim and lays it up perfectly. I'm like, how?
He's 6'7", 285. I checked today.
Yeah.
And moves like that. Moves.
And I don't know what Stan Van Gundy was. I think I like it. He's saying he's gonna run Zion at point. He's like, that's like Zion's gonna run as like the point guard. I'm like,
a little weird.
It's weird for sure.
I'm like, sure. Let's see what happens there.
Try it out, I guess, man.
Well, yeah.
Does the Pelicans get into the play-in tournament with San Antonio being 10th seed right now, and they're 2 games back?
They're 2 games back of San Antonio, right?
Yeah, for the 10th seed. Does Pelicans get in the tournament?
It could happen.
Yeah.
I can see it.
They beat the Warriors.
Well,
it's going to be hard, man. They just lost to the Wizards tonight, so
Hey, that doesn't help.
Dude, and Zion made a young man's mistake at the end of the game too. If you guys caught that, he fouled Westbrook in OT on an isolation play on a jump shot. 2 free throws to win it. Yeah.
God damn. Well, that's okay, man. Make those mistakes against the Washington
those are fine,
team.
Man. It's all good. It's all good to
Yeah.
make those mistakes,
Yo,
man.
New Orleans is going to be nice next year, I think. They're going to be dangerous.
Mhm.
I think Stan Van, or was it Stan Van Gundy, right? Yeah,
Stan.
Yeah.
I think next year with the Pelicans, if they keep their same team, the same core roster, with like a second-year head coach, I think they could be quite dangerous next year.
I said that at the beginning of the season. Remember when we were kind of guessing where they would land? I'm like, even if they don't make the playoffs, I don't think it's like a bust of a year.
Yes.
Right? Like if they're kind of close and they're about to make the play in, or they make the play in, like it's not a bust of a year. Like it's okay for them to miss it as long as like these guys get some run. Like Zion just getting a full year of like understanding how to play NBA basketball is huge.
One more year of Ingram playing with Zion. One more year, maybe Lonzo stays, Josh Hart. So that team could be dangerous next year.
They could be good. Yeah.
And they still got a lot of size. You know, I think the Steven Adams experiment didn't really make sense long term or anything like that. So he's probably going to go somewhere else. But you know, they still have Jackson Hayes. He's a huge ass guy. Like you said, Lonzo, Bledsoe hasn't really worked out. I think obviously keep Zion, keep Ingram. Josh Hart is a good piece to have. But I think like Lonzo, Bledsoe, Adams, like you should trade all those guys this offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yo, what if they get Terry Rozier?
Dirty.
Scary Terry.
Scary Terry.
Scary Terry.
Scary Terry for who?
I think that's what they can get.
For Lonzo.
For Lonzo.
Lonzo plays with his brother
Lonzo and something.
Yeah, and something for sure.
Yeah, Lonzo and something. Like
Lonzo, they got lots of pieces.
They got a lot that they can include in there. But I was like thinking about that. I think that like that'd be a nice scoring guard to have there.
Yeah. Especially like if you know, no matter what you're bigger than the other team's forward when you have Zion on your team. So you can sacrifice a little size with Terry Rozier. But yeah, I think salary Rozier makes a lot, right? So Lonzo and something would definitely have to go to make it work. But that's a good one. I like that. I could see that happening. Before I forget, boys, let's just go back to the original point of LaMarcus Aldridge. I just really quickly wanted to point out the fact LaMarcus Aldridge drafted number 2 overall. But number 1 pick that year, Andrea Bargnani. Just wanted to say that.
Wow.
I know. That's a bad one.
Primavera pasta and sauce.
Il Mago,
man.
The worst, man. What a bad pick. Yeah. See, at least Chris Bosh, like a couple other people went ahead of him that were a little bit better. Yeah. We can all agree, right? Just a bit better.
Yeah.
It was like a LeBron James type character up there.
And D-Wade went after, right?
No, the only better guy they could have picked. The only better guy they could have picked other than Bosh was D-Wade.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was the only one. Melo and LeBron went ahead.
And Milicic. Don't forget about him.
Yeah.
I know.
But he's really good. He's too good. We didn't even have to mention him, man.
But Andrea Bargnani is top 5 all-time made threes by 7-footers.
Yeah, there's only like I guess nowadays there's going to be a lot. I was going to say when he was around, there were only 5 dudes.
Yeah, there were only 4 guys. Yeah. Oh, good shit. Let's go back. Sorry, guys. I just really wanted to make that a part of the show today. But was there any Faraz? Let me talk to you about New Orleans because you said you've been watching them a lot. They're fun to watch. I honestly would have thought with that roster and how well Zion's playing too, like they would have had a better record than this. You know, let me just quickly look what they're at. They're
23 and
31.
25 and 31.
Yeah.
You know, so
I know.
What do you think is like the main problem other than the fact that they're just too young right now?
I legit think that's the biggest issue. I think that they're just not mentally there yet. Because I see flashes of them just when they click and how smooth they run in transition and how they score like with ease. I think it was a big mistake when they got rid of Redick. Yeah. I think they need like at least 2 like solid vets who are good enough to be respected by the young guys to be included in the mix there. And I think they just need a little bit more time. I think Stan himself, like he's been away from the game for a while, so I think he also is probably like adjusting his coaching style to today's game. Because when he was around, it was still different. It was still at least like 10 eight to 10 years ago, I think, when he last coached. I can't remember.
Something like that,
Yeah. But I legit think I am a little disappointed with it being so low. I had a little bit higher expectations, but I think in the next year or two, I think nothing to worry about. If that, like Chris said, the core group stays, no changes to the coaching staff, I think it's only like up.
Do you think? Sorry, I'll frame this towards you, DB. Do you think Zion can be your number one option on a championship team? Obviously, he needs pieces around him, but do you think he can be that 1A guy?
1A guy as in what he brings to the table, yes. Not 1A guy as in terms of like an ISO scorer. No.
Right.
Like he could be the best player on your team, but doesn't mean you have to go to him in crunch time for him to, you know what I mean? Like you could have another guy like a Bradley Beal even, like later down his career where like you have another shooting guard or another guy that's a scorer, can make something better for himself. But Zion does a lot more like defensively. He can go block shots, like, you know, go get rebounds, other things as well, and score. So I don't know if he has to be that, but I think he could be the best player on a team that wins a championship.
Yeah. I was trying to think, and I think I landed on no, because I kind of compared him to Anthony Davis, like unbelievable player, all-star type player, but so far like doesn't seem like he can win a chip on his own as being the best player. Obviously, you put anybody with LeBron in, they're going to look really good and be successful. But yeah, Faraz, Chris, you guys agree, disagree?
Zion's case, I agree that he can be the best player on the team, but I don't think even if he is the best player, he needs that like veteran leadership, especially now in like the next like year, 2 years. He needs that veteran leadership, and Eric Bledsoe isn't that guy to give him that veteran leadership. Like, I think the Pelicans need like a good, solid vet to like lead that team, lead Ingram, lead Zion to somewhere they've been before. Like pretend like a Rajon Rondo went to that team.
Well, he was there.
He was on that team, but that was before those guys.
But yeah, that was before Zion and Ingram. Yeah. So, but like, think of some player like that, where it's like they've been there before, they know what it takes to get there, just to teach Ingram and Zion to know, because they're going from like not even knowing what playoffs is really, because I don't like Ingram hasn't been to playoffs either, even with the Lakers, right? So it's like I think Ingram and Zion need to have that veteran like presence. Drew Holiday, if he would have stayed on the Pelicans,
I like Drew Holiday.
I wish he would have stayed there, but we'll see. Yeah, I think they need a veteran presence on that team.
Mm-hmm. JT, you were saying that you don't think Zion could be that like 1A type go-to player on the team. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, though, again, like in only his second year of playing, the ease of which he gets to the rim and how he's doing it to get to the rim is like showing me that maybe he could be that player. And I feel like if you do have that one guy who can do that so easily, why not go to him every time? Mm-hmm. Like again, he's got to prove that it's there mentally, because we all know like that's a real thing. Like if anyone can fuck up in that last minute, like we got to see if that's still there. But he has this like edge of like a hint of like dominance in his game that you don't see often. That like when he's on the floor, like he dominates certain aspects of the game. Yeah, which is it's crazy to see. It's like last time you really saw that was either with Shaq or in a way Giannis.
I see his trajectory similar to Giannis. Like he can be the best player on one of the best teams, but I think when it comes down to it, to win a championship is just different. Like what just popped into my head is take the Warriors pre-Kevin Durant. So you got Steph, Clay, Harrison Barnes, Draymond, blah, blah, blah. Take Steph off as the number one guy and put Zion on there. Are they just as successful? Obviously, you know, it's a prime Steph versus a young Zion from what we've seen. So let's say, you know, Zion with shooting of Clay, Harrison Barnes is scoring, Draymond's kind of point guard defensive abilities. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, then he'd be the ultimate player.
No, he's not
On that team. On that team.
Oh, man.
Could you imagine?
I'm like,
Zion
you
with
hear
Clay shot?
Clay's shooting? I'm like, it's game over. He's the best I've ever seen.
Yeah. Just take Steph off that team and put Zion on that team.
I feel like that's different because we're switching out two completely different players. If you said take Steph out and put Dame in, or like take Steph out and put another guy that's comparable, I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
But I would say maybe the team doesn't mesh as well if you replace Zion with Steph and they don't become that
style of play, man.
Yeah,
style of play. That Warriors team was like designed on fucking throwing the ball around and just coming off screens and hitting dirty threes.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's basically what it was, and the ball went through Draymond mainly for that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right? So it would kind of clog it up for Zion a little bit if that's what they wanted to do, right? So maybe it wouldn't match that well, but I know what you mean, JT. You mean like could he be like the guy and then have like a guy like honestly I think like a guy like Clay with like Zion, I think they could win a championship theoretically. It would just have to be in a time where LeBron doesn't have AD with him, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like AD isn't with Harden, and it just has to work out at the right time, right?
Right. Yeah.
With these super teams, it's really hard, man, for one dude to do it.
DB, you think of Zion with a Bradley Beal?
So that would help a lot, man. That'd be amazing.
That'd be good, hey?
That'd be ridiculous because there's so
a guy who can
like their game is different too.
Threes?
Yeah, it's perfect that way. That's what you need, right? Like you don't need another dude that's gonna need to go to the rim on a lot of possessions, right?
Exactly.
So, Chris, you were saying, they need a leadership type guard there in New Orleans. You were saying like a Rondo or Drew who got traded away. What about Westbrook? What about if you put Westbrook on that team right now? With his leadership, his experience, his ability to handle the ball, and obviously his mindset. So you got same guys take off. Let's say Lonzo and Bledsoe for Westbrook.
I think that'd be a dangerous team. Yeah. That'd be a fun team to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But the only thing I have with Westbrook is like the 3-point shooting. Because if you have Zion, Westbrook, and who's the third person? Ingram
could hit threes.
But like Ingram can hit threes, but not to the clip as like a Clay or Bradley Beal, right?
Yeah. He's not like a lethal shooter like that.
Well, I think it would be really fun, and I think New Orleans would be much better with Westbrook. But I think they still need that 3-point shooting threat. Like, they put fear in somebody's eyes. Be like, we can't leave this guy open. Because if you have a shooter that you can't leave open, that's one less defender to suck in when Zion comes into the paint.
For sure.
Like with Westbrook, I think Westbrook's defender would probably cheat more on Zion when he drives into the paint than worrying about Westbrook's three.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I think you would run that offense, Zion Westbrook pick and roll every possession.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
That'd be disgusting.
Dude, they can't stop the roll.
You can't stop it. You can't stop it, man. If you have a guy like you guys saw what Westbrook did with Steven Adams going to the rim.
Yeah.
How much better would it be with Zion? Just fucking he would finish every layup, everything around the rim. It'd be ridiculous, man.
Yeah. So DB, segue that into Westbrook's season this year and how he's playing over there in Washington.
Fuck, man. That man is the most disrespected player of all time. I don't know how he didn't make an all-star team this year, but he's so good. He's actually so good. I know the team's struggling, and I had him I think I had him at 6th in the East this year, and they're 12th, so they're really struggling. But I think they're going to make the play-in, and I think if they make the play-in, they have a really good shot of making the actual playoffs, because they could beat Indiana. That's definitely doable, and then they'll probably have to play Charlotte or New York or Miami, maybe. I don't know. So they can make it happen. But Westbrook is fucking killing it, man. He's averaging another triple-double, right? I think today he had another 36 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists. He didn't get a triple-double tonight, but he did finish the game in OT over Zion, drew the foul, finished with 2 free throws.
There you go.
I mean, he did try to miss the second free throw, but when it rains, it pours. So he hit that one too. He's trying to miss it so bad. Yeah, man. He's playing.
I think the Wizards are a scary team to face in the play-on tournament.
For sure.
I think
For sure.
even like out of the, I'm looking at the standings right now: Miami, Charlotte, Indiana, Raptors, Bulls, Wizards. If Wizards get into that 10th seed, they're beating Indiana, they're beating Charlotte, they're beating. I don't think they. I think it'd be a tough one against Miami. But if the Knicks slide down into that play-in, I think the Wizards can beat the Knicks as well. So I think
so too.
The way Westbrook is playing right now, and like the way that team's set up, I think they can give a play-in tournament run to get, and then obviously they'll play Philly or Brooklyn, and they'll just get.
Fuck that.
Pretty screwed there.
Well, they don't have to get through Miami to get in, right? Because Miami could get 7th and they could get 8th. So Chicago is in 11th right now and Washington's in 12th. And they're actually tied at 22 and 33. And then like we were saying before the show, Toronto is up 1 win, but also 1 loss. So if Washington wins, let's say tomorrow, and none of those other teams play, then Washington is in 10th. But Chicago, Zach LaVine's down, I think, for the rest of the season now.
No, I think it's COVID. It's COVID.
It's COVID?
Oh, right.
COVID,
Yeah. So that's 10 days.
Like a week and a half, 10 days.
Yeah. So with them, what I heard is because if they finish bottom 4 in the lottery, then they keep their first round pick. Otherwise, it gets shipped somewhere else. So maybe now they're incentivized to fuck it. Let's give Kobe White the ball and go get a top 4 pick.
Actually,
that helps Washington. I'm not scared of Toronto, Indiana, Charlotte. No,
Toronto's gonna fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Charlotte. I think Charlotte. Remember Charlotte's 4th place?
Yeah, LaMelo and Hayward.
The last time we did the podcast, Charlotte, which was like 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, Charlotte was 4th. Now they're ready to drop out of the top 10.
Dude, their 2 best players are injured, Gordon Hayward and LaMelo.
Sure, yeah. Is Gordon out for the year?
But not even that, though, man.
Right
now, the way the league is set up, it's like you play like 5 times a week, and everyone's within like 3 games of each other.
Yeah.
So you lose 5 games in a row, you drop 6 spots in standings.
Yeah.
It's like
it's
crazy.
They're 4 and 6 in the last 10. Like that's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
4 in a row losing. Yeah.
But yeah, you said, and then if let's say they get in as the 8th seed and they got to play Philly or Brooklyn, DB, if they're playing Brooklyn, that might be like the worst possible 1-8 matchup for Brooklyn. Westbrook wants it, man. Westbrook, like, he plays up. I'm pretty sure they already beat Brooklyn this year.
Dude, they beat Brooklyn twice. They beat every top team. They beat Utah twice. They beat
the Lakers.
I think they beat Philly once. They beat Lakers once. They beat Nuggets twice. They beat Boston once, I think. They beat all like the really good teams. They play up to that level.
Yes.
Like Westbrook just like he basically says, I don't want to lose, so everyone else just fucking come with me. We're gonna make this happen. Beal as well. Yeah. Like Beal is really good too, man. Like I don't want to take away from Beal, but I think like Westbrook has already taken over as the leader of that team in 1 year.
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy.
Definitely. And like you said, he's averaging a triple-double again this year, which is crazy. So what would have to happen for Westbrook to get MVP?
It's an impossibility.
Jokic is down, Harden is down, rest of the season. Yeah.
It's an impossibility.
You have to continue to not top 5. And or at least top, like, is he even top 10 in MVP? I don't think so.
I don't think they'll think about it unless they go on maybe a 13-game, 14-game win streak to end the season, move into like the 6th spot or something like that.
Yeah.
And then maybe they would think about it. Right? Like, and everybody else loses every game.
Yeah.
That's the only way it's gonna happen. It's hard to even think about a team that's in like the 12th spot as having like an MVP.
When there's so many other guys who are just dominating, like you said, Embiid, Jokic are kind of the favorites, and then there's other guys making cases as well. Did anybody else want to add on Westbrook? Cool.
No, he's falling out, man. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. So for the Timberwolves, some news coming out of them. One of the worst teams in the league this year, even though they had the number 1 pick. But they got bought by a group of investors, including A-Rod. So we all saw the funny viral clips with Anthony Edwards not knowing who it is, etc.
I love that guy, man.
one little thing I heard is, could this be a precursor for Timberwolves to get moved to Seattle? A-Rod obviously has the history there. that's just smoke, obviously. What the fuck do I know? I'm sure there's something built into the contract where they can't move him for X amount of years, but Timberwolves to Seattle, that might be fun. Hey, DB?
Dude, that'd be cool. I'd take any team, man. Honestly, just bring a team closer to us. I just want to watch more basketball. Just straight up, man. It'd be better if they moved to Vancouver. I'd like that a little bit more, but I don't know how likely that's going to be. I know Seattle's next in line, so there's a couple places that are next in line.
Seattle
and Vegas, yeah.
But if they do Seattle or Vegas, they have to do an East Coast team after that, and then bring it back to Seattle and Vegas. And then
there's some weird ones that they can move over, like Minnesota. Like Minnesota is pretty far east. Like New Orleans is pretty far east.
New Orleans,
like they can move somebody over, right?
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Adam Silver's talking a little bit more about expansion possibilities now. So that could be an option for instead of relocating a team. But I threw something up on the Instagram page this morning, kind of asking people for topic suggestions for today, since we haven't been on in a while. Our boy Chevy Gaines, the only guy to reply, but he wanted to talk about some Vancouver Grizzlies. So if we were able to relocate a team to Vancouver, I made it. I put a little parameters on it by saying it has to be a team that's not going to make the playoffs or the play-in tournament. So essentially, the bottom 6-7 teams in the entire association. Who would you like to see come to Vancouver as a franchise, and why? Assuming they bring their same roster. So we got Chicago, Washington, Cleveland, Orlando, Detroit, Sacramento, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Houston. DB, I know your pick. So Faraz, why don't you start us? Who would you want to see come to Vancouver being your home team?
Fuck.
The best player there? Yeah, I don't know.
Does the full team name comes over, right? So it'd be like the Vancouver Rockets, for example, right? If it was
you could switch it. You can switch it if you want. Yeah.
The Sannies. The Vancouver Sannies.
I don't know, man. It'd be between Chicago and Washington.
Oh, okay.
Chicago would be kind of cool too.
I think I think it's one of those.
Sacramento. That's kind of cool.
I thought about them too. Yeah, I thought about Sacramento too, just because of De'Aaron Fox mainly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like Zach LaVine's pretty exciting too. I feel like that young team is going to be fun to watch. And I'm just imagining an athlete attending games. Yeah.
Exactly.
But to make a decision, I'll say Chicago. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Chris?
I was going to say Chicago, but I don't think Chicago would ever leave Chicago just because it's Chicago.
Exactly.
I don't think the league will ever allow a team to leave Chicago. But I think, honestly, I'd love the Timberwolves to come. Just because, think about next year's team. You got D'Lo, you got Cat, you got probably a top 3 pick again. Yeah. And just having that team in the city that, you'll become a fan of and get to watch every other game. You get to watch those 2 players and whatever draft pick they get, grow together and flourish, hopefully, throughout their rest of the year. So for me, Minnesota, I honestly think Minnesota in general is going to be good in the next 2 years. D'Lo, Cat, draft picks, Edwards, yes, exactly. I think so. That's why I think I'd love to have Minnesota and Vancouver right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we're gonna play it like that, what about an OKC? So you have draft picks for the rest of your life.
But see, OKC,
for the rest of your life, you're getting number 1 draft pick.
And the Canadian boy.
I don't think OKC.
Go, Chris.
I don't think those 17 picks of OKC. It's really you have to get somebody out of those 17 picks in the first round. That will give you, not LeBron-esque, but somebody.
LeBron-esque.
Somebody else. You have to draft somebody that will turn. Maybe it'll turn into a Giannis, a 13th pick that turns into Giannis.
This guy's just naming
out of the 17 first round picks that OKC has in the next 7 years, I'd say you need to get somebody to that caliber wherever you're drafting in the draft each year. At least one of them needs
change
to
a franchise.
A franchise changer. which
Yeah.
I don't know if OKC will be able to do that wherever they're, because you don't know where you're drafting in 5 years. You know what I mean?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not like
Other
ship
teams'
off
picks?
5 of those picks for someone who
Exactly.
can change you right now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do a couple trades and take a couple shots. Now it gives you an ability to maybe take a risk on somebody who could have a huge ceiling, but maybe fuck it as well. And okay, worst case scenario, we got a top 3 pick next year too, or something like that. But I think that would maybe be like the best story. OKC coming with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being the guy, and then trade one of your lottery picks and get Andrew Wiggins. I don't know.
What? Come on, man. Why?
If it was a
Canadian
Vancouver
boy.
Thunder, that would happen.
Yeah, good
You're only
old
allowed
Canadian
to draft
boy.
Canadian players with all those draft picks, man. That'd
Oh
be
man.
so fucked.
And then before we get into our pick'em here, we were talking a little bit about the All NBA guard selection. So obviously we got a couple weeks left before the actual season is over, and I don't think these things get released till kind of mid playoffs or whatever. But obviously there's only 6 slots available, right? 2 on each team. And I was just looking through the kind of guys that are playing unbelievable this year who, you know, are definitely guards. They're not forwards. They can't kind of slide over like Jimmy Butler or something, kind of plays guard, kind of plays forward. So we have Steph, we got Dame, we got Luka, we got Donovan Mitchell, we got CP3, we got Booker, we got Beal, 2, 4, 6. Who am I missing? Harden, Kyrie. Yeah,
Westbrook.
I'm missing one.
Westbrook won't make it, man. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll make it. But
That's 9. Yeah, no, just overall. So that's 9 players that I just typed in the drive there. So only 6 of these guys can get through. So who wants to go and kind of make a case who's getting off, or maybe who's a lock in your mind? Just where do you go with this, Chris?
Say those names again. Sorry.
It's all good. We got Steph,
Curry.
Dame.
Yeah, Curry for sure. Dame
Yeah.
for sure. Luka for sure.
Mitchell
Donovan,
for
I don't
sure.
know. He got hurt today, so if he misses the rest of the season, who knows? It was a pretty bad injury.
But that would still be, I don't know. You still got to give it to him, man. Poor guy. Like he's on the number 1 team in the West.
Yes. Yeah,
In
that's
the
true.
league.
He doesn't. Yeah, in the league. Yeah.
Yeah. He's their best
Give it to
player.
him.
I honestly think Westbrook or Beal should get in there. Probably it will be Beal, even though Westbrook's probably, I think, putting up better numbers. But that's what, 4, 5?
I don't even know, man.
That's 5, I think, including Mitchell.
Yeah.
So
Steph,
CP3,
Mitchell.
Harden, Kyrie. You got to leave
Harden
one of those
should
guys
get in.
out.
Harden should get in there. I don't think Kyrie should get in there just because he's only played 39 games this season. And who knows going towards the back half of the season or like the back 15, 20 games left, how many more he'll play until playoffs. Same as Harden,
What about
which
Booker?
is tough. I'd love to see Booker get in.
Yeah.
I really
I
would.
got Booker there too before I think JT.
I think Chris
Mhm.
Paul should be ahead of Booker for the simple fact that Phoenix is the number 2 seed in the whole NBA.
See, like, do you think Chris Paul would get? Chris Paul got the All-Star nod over Booker, really? Do you think Booker should get the All-NBA over Chris Paul?
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, where was Phoenix last year, and look where they are now, and the only
Yes.
additions are Chris Paul and Jay Crowder.
But look at what Booker did with them in the bubble, man. 8-0. He didn't have those guys. And
Sorry?
Oubre. Like in the bubble, they went 8-0 with Booker, no Chris Paul, right? And
Yeah,
Oubre
but
didn't come to the bubble.
But the bubble was
Small sample.
the bubble, it's a very small sample. Like Miami played out of their minds in the bubble, and look, Miami's like settled down now.
Yeah.
So
So Booker's averaging 25.7 points, 4.2 rebounds, 4.5 assists.
Mhm.
Yeah.
His numbers are better, but legit,
Yeah.
I just think that this year, like, I remember Chris hating on Chris Paul a lot, and now even Chris is talking good shit about Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Like, I hear a lot of people's tunes like changed, and there weren't a lot of people's tunes to change in the first place. I think a lot of people still respected him, But even that small group that were like doubting him, I think even they flipped and they've just like realized. And I did not expect them to be second in the NBA.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because honestly, realize. Remember that, guys? No,
Dude,
for real though.
I watch their games and it's like they're good games. Like they stay composed. You know, like Chris Paul actually has them playing well, and like that mental aspect of it. It's like it looks like he's legit teaching them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So who would you cut then?
Unreal in New Orleans. Going back to New Orleans. Imagine that.
Oh. Yeah, he'd be very good with New Orleans for sure. Zion would fucking develop so much quicker. For sure. But who would you cut then, Faraz? You want to keep Chris Paul? Who would you cut?
Yo, I'll be right back.
Someone can't make it, right?
I think Booker doesn't make it, unfortunately, and I think I agree with Chris in that Kyrie hasn't played enough.
Okay.
So then one other guy has to not make it, right?
Yeah.
Then Beal, Mitchell, Luka, Dame stuff.
Beal probably, man.
It's between Beal and Westbrook. I personally would leave Beal out because I think Westbrook is averaging a triple-double, and that's like unbelievable.
I think they both might be left out, man.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds. I think both of them are going to get left out, man. As much as I don't want that to happen, but I think they'll both get left out.
It might, yeah.
I mean, Beal's leading the league in scoring, right? He's 31 points a game.
Yeah.
Hard to leave that off.
It's true, but like he was at like 36 points per game, and you know, like that's when he was like really hot. He's at like 30 points. Like, is he 30 points flat right now per game?
31.0.
31.
Yeah.
That's like obviously that's really good, but like I don't know what his other stats really look like. And again, like I think it'll depend a lot about where they rank in the playoffs. Are they going to make the playoffs or not?
Right. Yeah.
And that's huge to see if they'll.
Unfortunately, if it comes down to Beal and Westbrook, I think Westbrook's going to get shafted.
Yeah, well, we saw that in the All-Star game.
Yeah, I think he'll get shafted just because he already has much more accomplishments and accolades, and they want to bring Beal up a little bit more. I think
Isn't that weird how that happens sometimes when you're like a guy that's accomplished a lot? They're like, yeah, he doesn't need it.
Exactly. He had his turn.
Look, it's the argument LeBron should have like 9 MVPs. Yeah.
That's true.
It would just get boring giving it to the same guy over and over again.
I heard one analyst go through every single year since LeBron came into the league and stats and stuff, and he thinks that he deserves 11, and he has 3.
Wow. 11.
Yeah. So back to the All NBA. I think Steph, Dame, Luka, Mitchell are your locks. I think for sure those guys are in. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think Harden has to be too, man.
Yeah. And then for me, I think it would be holy shit. What do I think it's gonna be? It'll be Harden and I don't know. Harden and Booker, but what I think it should be is probably Beal and Booker. I think I just got to respect the guy who's leading the league in scoring.
Yeah. I mean, but like if you pull up the stats, I think like between him and Harden, let's say Beal and Harden, they're probably like 3 points off in scoring, three points off in scoring. He probably has like 4 more assists per game, probably 3 or 4 more rebounds per game, right? Like those things add up a little bit too, right?
Yeah. So Beal's 31 points, 4.8 assists, 4.8 rebounds. James Harden's 25.2 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists.
Okay. So yeah, right
that's
around
pretty
that.
crazy.
That's like, his stats are good. Like he's just Harden is just fucking good, man. He's just a really, really good player. But
the reason I lean to leave him off is just like he's obviously at that elite level. He's obviously one of the top guys in the NBA, but his performance with Houston wasn't all NBA by any means, right? That's why I would lean to somebody like Booker, who's like, yeah, I'm going to stay on this team that's supposed to be one of the worst in the league, and now he's scoring the most, and they're on a little run right now, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's jump over to our pick'em before we sign off here. So way back whenever we did this last, we had Bucks at Clippers. So I was the only one taking the Bucks. DB, Faraz, and Chris took the Clippers. The Clippers won by 24 points, 129 to 105. So Faraz still in the lead at 8-5. DB cracks 500. He's at 7-6. Chris climbing up to there as well. He's at 6-7. And I'm further cementing my spot in last place at 4-9.
Oh, you got 4 wins. Good shit.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Let's do two games same day this time, so you can catch up a little bit.
Okay, I like that. So why don't you guys go first on your picks for the first game that I did, and I'll search up another one. So this coming Sunday, we got the Nets at the Heat. Of course, Chris, you can go on a rant here if you like, but we don't know who's going to be playing for the Brooklyn Nets.
I'm going to go Miami. Miami at home.
Maybe.
Nets on the road with no one.
Miami.
There you go. That's why I fucking picked the Nets. You goof. You're done.
Good shit.
You're done, bro.
I'm going to take the Nets as well.
Oh, come on, JT.
Yes. Good, Chris.
Okay.
One more from the Sunday?
I got one for Thursday. So coming up, another good one. We got Philly at the Bucks.
Ooh.
Philly. Fuck for the Bucks, man. Philly, baby. Let's go.
Philly.
Ooh.
Philly too.
I'm gonna go Milwaukee.
Ooh. Sorry, boys. I'm also going Philly. No, fuck that. I'm going with the Bucks.
Come on, JT.
My heart my head tells me Philly, and my heart says Bucks. We'll see. We'll see. I listened to a podcast today with Joel Embiid, and I think he tweaked that knee again. So I don't know. Maybe he'll take a few games off, especially if it's
after
against
today?
the Bucks there.
He played today.
I think like last night or the night before. Yeah, he didn't get injured, but like he tweaked it. He said.
Dude, today he averaged he got like 35 and 17 today.
So we'll see. That's in a week. So we'll see.
Yo, random. Take Tobias Harris off. Put Paul George in there. Philly versus Brooklyn. 7 games. Who wins?
Fully healthy, right?
Fully healthy Philly. Fully healthy.
Playoff P? Playoff P?
Fully healthy Brooklyn. Playoff series,
Playoff
7
P?
games.
Yeah.
Playoff P though?
Playoff what?
Paul George in the playoffs or Paul George regular season?
Paul George, how he's balling out right now. But replace him with take Tobias off, put Paul George in.
I still got the Nets because they got KD, right?
Yeah.
He's still on that team? Yeah, if he's still on that team, I got to go with the Nets, man.
But
that's tight. I could. Yeah, I think six for sure.
I think Philly wins that one.
Yeah, fuck.
You think Philly wins that?
That's pretty tough, man.
I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm taking anybody but Brooklyn, but it definitely puts them closer. Having PG instead of Tobias, it definitely puts them closer. But it's gonna be interesting, man. Like, who does Brooklyn have to stop Joel Embiid? Are they just gonna let him get 40, and they're gonna try to score like 150 points a game? I don't really know.
Jordan's gonna foul him 6 times. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Okay, and then you got
give up a good 6 fouls.
Yeah.
And Blake and DeAndre are going to give him 6 fouls each.
Yeah. You don't have LaMarcus anymore. You got Nick Claxton, who's a skinny boy. KD's going to play some time at 5, right? Like,
and Embiid bullied DeAndre Jordan the other day when I was watching it.
Yeah, he did.
Old DJ, man. He bullies him.
And he can shoot it too, right?
Yeah. I'm like, fuck.
So
I feel like if Brooklyn can avoid any team with a big, solid, big man player, I think they'll be golden. But if they come out, I think they need Philly to get upset in the series before they face them. To not have a chance, but best case, yes. Because I think they'll have trouble.
Milwaukee or a random Celtics or something to take out Philly, and then for them to come in and just wipe.
Yes, exactly. They need that.
Yeah.
I hate Philly as much as anybody else, but I would root for Philly over Brooklyn because I think Philly could beat Brooklyn in a 7-game series.
Yo,
hate Philly's
good shit, man. Fuck you. Yo, Joel Embiid's actually dope.
Joel Embiid's a clown. All right.
But I like Joel Embiid. But
He could be the
do you think-
most dominant player in the NBA if he played like how Shaq used to play.
Yeah.
But he decides to just flop and like be a flailing like little magic carp fish. Like just
Magic carp,
every time.
shout out.
Every time he gets touched, he just like flails.
Yo,
If he
I
didn't do
agree.
that, he'd be the most dominant
Yeah.
player ever.
Yo,
I
no,
agree.
Like
whoa.
Shaq.
I agree that he should be more dominant. Like he should exert himself more. Like
Makes sense.
100%.
Makes sense. I think we could all agree on that. But he's still really good. And also, yo, Chris, do you think Philly has a better chance against Brooklyn or New York against Brooklyn?
Really, obviously. But New York will give them trouble if they see him in the first round.
All right, boys, that should be all for today. Hopefully we won't take too long of a break to come back, but next week, hopefully we'll be talking about a nice Bucks win over Philly. Anybody else before we sign off?
Go Bucks, baby.
Yeah. I love you guys. Miss you guys. Want to hang out
You
sometime.
too, bro.
Let's go to the beach.
Let's go to the beach
Yeah, let's
tomorrow.
go to the beach.
Sounds
Beach
good.
party.
Beach party, Hoop Session
party, guys.
sponsoring it. Love y'all.
All right.
Peace.
Brought to you by Premium.
Premium meals by JT.
Thanks for stopping by to sesh with us. If you like what we're doing, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell your neighbor, tell your dog. Peace.